Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Monday, August the 10th. We do have a 5-game slate on both sites today, starting at 2:30 Eastern Time, 5-gamer on DK and a 5-gamer on Yahoo. This is going to be a pretty value-filled slate. We've already got some big news that came out. Giannis, he's listed as questionable, but he's probable, he's expected to play. But the big news we got is that Luka is going to be out, and Kristaps Porzingis is going to be out as well. So the Mavs are going to be without both Luka and Porzingis today, and even guys like T.J. Warren questionable, Donovan Mitchell questionable. Going to be some big injuries, a lot of value today. We'll definitely break it all down as we go through each position. Talk about the value I like, how I think things are going to shake out. Who's going to be the guys that we want to target from that Mavs team, because the Mavs, without their two highest usage players, are going to be a team that we look to target for value today. You're probably going to have at least 2 to 3 Mavs in every lineup if I had to guess. I feel like that's the way that I'm going to be going today. We'll start off at point guard. Just before we do get started, guys, as always, I would appreciate it if you would hit that like button down below. Yesterday's video, Sunday's video, it got over 400 likes. I can't thank you guys enough for the support, man. For the the way my NBA videos have been doing on YouTube is just insane. Every video is getting 3,000, almost 4,000 views. All of my NBA videos are getting over 200. Yesterday's video got over 400 likes. I want to try and shoot for over 500 likes today. I don't know if we can get there, but it's something worth shooting for. I guess it gives us a little goal to shoot for. So definitely hit that like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button as well. If you are new here, I do upload NBA videos every single day. I'm trying to get up MLB videos every single day as well to this channel, and just upload as much content as I can. So hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well. That'll notify you every time I upload. You'll never miss out on any of my new videos. And if you do enjoy these videos, if you want to get more content from me, I do have stuff available on Patreon. I will have an article posted for this slate. I do post articles on Patreon Monday through Friday where I break down the slate fully, go through each position, talk about the guys I like at each position. I also have updates posted over there, so especially with a sport like NBA where news is coming out throughout the day, guys are getting late scratched and stuff. I post updates on Patreon. I have updated core plays posted over there. I'm also in Discord, our Discord chat that you can join. I'm in there throughout the day, answer any of your questions, whether it's lineup specific questions, just talk through the slate. Always in there to help you guys out. So you can definitely check out the Patreon, see all that I have to offer. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's go ahead and take a look at today's slate. So at the top of point guard, at the top, Luka's here, but he's not going to be playing today. He's out. We do have LeBron at 10-2, though, and I don't think LeBron's going to be someone I pay up for. It's a weird slate. We have a lot of value, but like the studs, I don't really want to pay up for. LeBron, we have concerns about his minutes. What is his minutes going to look like now that the Lakers really have nothing to play for? They've locked up the 1 seed. He got 35 minutes last game, but still wasn't very good, just 54 Draftkings points. AD got big minutes as well, 35 minutes for him, but he also wasn't very good, just 30 DK points. And then, you got Giannis as well, another guy that, what are his minutes going to look like? In close games, he's playing about 30 minutes. That's enough for Giannis to get, he can get 65, 70 Draftkings points in 30 minutes. But in this game against Dallas that went to overtime, I know he fouled out. Still only played 33 minutes, though, even in an overtime game. If I'm going to pay up for a stud over 10K, between LeBron, Giannis, or AD, it's definitely going to be Giannis. I just think he's the most productive player. He is the most productive player on a point-per-minute basis of the three. He might not play as many minutes as LeBron and AD do, but he's just so productive. The guy averages almost 2 fantasy points per minute. It's insane. Even in 30 minutes, Giannis can go out there and get 70 Draftkings points. So I don't really, see myself going to LeBron today. Devin Booker, though, I do like a lot. Devin Booker, 8,700. I got a guy that I feel like I'm going to have a good amount of exposure to today. His price is coming up, but I think it's worth it. This is a dude that's going to be out there, 38, 40 minutes. The Suns, right now, they are undefeated so far in the bubble. Haven't lost a game yet. So we should expect them to continue to run their starters out there for big minutes. Now that their chances of making the playoffs are starting to increase with them winning all their games. If they continue to win games like this, they legit could get the 8 seed. I'm not sure. I think the Grizzlies have the 8 seed right now, but the Grizzlies have really been struggling. So we could definitely see the Suns get the 8 seed. Even if they don't, they could definitely get to within 4 games of the 8 seed and get into the play-in tournament and still have a chance to make the playoffs. I like Devin Booker a lot. I think he's very safe right now. We can lock him in for 36, 38 minutes if the game is close. Booker obviously is an incredibly high usage player, has the ball in his hands a ton. We've seen him, the assists rack up, 8, 6, 10 assists last 3 games. The scoring, though, I mean, that's where Booker, does his damage. Guy's going to go out there and take 20, 25 shots every game. OKC has a solid defense, but, they got Chris Paul, who's a good defender, but he's not going to, slow down Devin Booker. Devin Booker, this dude's just going to score at will, no matter who's guarding him. I like him a lot on both sides. I think with the price tag coming up, that's going to scare people away. We should get him at pretty low ownership, so definitely have a good amount of interest in Devin Booker, 8,700. I do prefer him over guys like Lowry, Chris Paul. Even if Donovan Mitchell plays, I prefer him over Mitchell. So I do like Booker at the top of the point guard position. In the mid-range, I think like Malcolm Brogdon, feels a little bit too cheap. Been over 40 Draftkings points in 2 straight games. Only 6,900. Definitely a guy you could look to even in a somewhat tough spot against Miami. Rubio's price is appealing, but he just hasn't been great for fantasy as of late. Last few games, I think he's been under 30, or he has 1 game over 40 DK points so far in the bubble. Other than that, he's been about 34, 24, 28 DK points. His minutes also aren't as high as a guy like Devin Booker. We're seeing Devin Booker play 36, 38 minutes, whereas Rubio's been limited to 30 minutes, which is kind of concerning. I doubt I'd go there today. There's other guys I think I'd rather play for cheaper. If Donovan Mitchell is out, he's questionable right now. If he's out, I really like Mike Conley at 6,100. Kendrick Nunn's going to be out again, so I think Goran Dragic looks like a really good play at 4,900. Right now, it seems like he's going to play. I'm pretty sure we just got reports that he's expected to play. So without Kendrick Nunn, we know that Jimmy Butler's going to be back, but without Kendrick Nunn, we should expect probably 30 minutes from Goran Dragic. Might move into the starting lineup. I doubt they do that. They like to bring Dragic off the bench. But if he were to start, I would feel even better about him. But even getting 30 minutes off the bench, I think that makes him a really good play at only 4,900. We have all this value from the Mavs that we're going to talk about. So I think, everyone's going to be playing the Mavs value today like they should. The Mavs value looks really good. Everyone in that line, or everyone on that team is so cheap. So a guy like Goran Dragic is going to go overlooked. He's going to be really low owned if I had to guess. Probably 10, maybe 15% owned at the most. Definitely like him at 4,900. I think he looks like a really good value. Assuming he plays, he's expected to play. Just keep your eye on that. We saw that Steven Adams was expected to play on Sunday, and then he got late scratched 30 minutes before the game started. So, make sure you're keeping up to date with the injury news as always. But the main value we need to talk about at point guard is from Dallas. So, like I said at the beginning of the video, Dallas is going to be without Luka, going to be without Kristaps Porzingis. We'll go ahead and pull up their usage, the team's usage so far this season with both those guys off the floor. Obviously, Luka and Kristaps are the 2 highest usage players on this team. So whenever they're off the floor, you're going to see big usage bumps for guys like Trey Burke, DeLon Wright, Tim Hardaway. These guys, are going to have pretty good numbers with them off the floor. So just looking, scanning through, DeLon Wright, 18% usage rate, but it's averaged a fantasy point per minute. Trey Burke, where's he at? Okay, so he doesn't have much sample, but I know Trey Burke, so far with the Mavs, he's been pretty productive when he's got minutes. Even playing alongside Luka, we've seen him put up big games. Even when he was with the Knicks, this was a guy that could, go out there and score and put up big fantasy games. He had that massive game, their first game in the bubble, 30 minutes against Houston, 47 Draftkings points. Even the last 2 games, though, with Luka and Porzingis both healthy, we've gotten 31 and 20 minutes from Trey Burke. I like him a lot as a value play. I think he is going to be the most popular value on the slate, but I think this is good chalk. Just assuming he starts, I don't really know who they're going to start at point guard for Luka. I think it's either going to be one of Trey Burke or DeLon Wright. So I think whichever one of Burke or Wright gets the start, that's the guy that I prefer. With how cheap they are, I think you can play both. I think both guys get at least probably 25 minutes. Maybe, whoever starts will probably get about 30 minutes. I'm going to go with Burke now just because I assume he's the starter. But just keep your eye on that. Luckily, this is one of the earlier games, so, we'll probably have this news before lock if I had to guess. Burke's minimum salary on Yahoo, so he looks like a top value today. I'm assuming he starts for Luka. If it's DeLon Wright, though, you could definitely play DeLon Wright over Burke. But honestly, I might play both guys together. I think both guys look like really good values. When you take Luka and Porzingis off the floor, that's just so much usage to go around. Dallas is probably going to get blown out here, but I think even if they do get blown out, you're probably going to see guys like Trey Burke and DeLon Wright still play even if it's a blowout. So I feel very confident in them. Both guys are incredibly cheap. Both guys are going to project really well. I think this is good chalk. I think these are just value plays that you kind of just put into your lineup and move on, get different elsewhere. But let's go ahead and move on to shooting guard now. So At the shooting guard position, I do really like Jimmy Butler here. I think he's going to be very overlooked today, but Jimmy Butler's only $7,200 on DraftKings. I think that is an incredibly cheap price tag for a guy like Jimmy Butler who, averages about 1.2 fantasy points per minute on the season, has about a 26% usage rate. I assume because he's playing that he's going to be full go. I wouldn't expect them to bring him back if he's not fully ready to play. So I'm assuming he gets his normal minutes, 33, 34 minutes. I like this matchup a lot for him against the Pacers. I think, there's definitely a narrative here. I don't know if you guys remember, but during the regular season, when the Pacers played the Heat, TJ Warren and Jimmy Butler really got into it. We saw them, beefing on social media. And I know Jimmy Butler posted something on Instagram. He wrote down or he circled on the calendar whenever the Heat and Pacers played again, like he was ready for that game. They never got to play again during the regular season because, the season got postponed or canceled, whatever, because of COVID. Well, now they're getting to play again in the bubble. Definitely like Jimmy Butler here at $7,200. I just think he's too cheap on DraftKings. This is a guy that, is going to give you 35, 40 DraftKings points. That's like a floor game for him pretty much. I mean, he's averaged almost 42 DraftKings points per game on the season. Definitely has 50-plus point upside, and I think when you factor in the narrative facing TJ Warren, who he's got a lot of beef with, we could definitely see Jimmy Butler just come out here and demand the ball. I mean, Kendrick Nunn's going to be out, so maybe we see them start Jimmy Butler at point guard. They have done that before. They could maybe start Butler at point guard and then start Hero at shooting guard and then go with, their normal starters, Robinson, Crowder, Adebayo. I like Jimmy Butler a lot. I think he's too cheap on DK. I think on Yahoo, he's expensive over there at $38, but nobody's going to play him on Yahoo. If people are paying up at shooting guard, they're probably just going to play Devin Booker over him. Definitely like going to Jimmy Butler on Yahoo as well. I think he is going to be very low owned. Makes him a very appealing option at the top of the shooting guard position. But then other shooting guards that we can maybe look to, like in this 5K range, you do have Tim Hardaway Jr., who I think is a very good play now. No Luka, no Porzingis. We take a look at his numbers this season with both those guys off the floor. Has the highest usage rate or second highest usage rate on the team at 27.9%. Averages about a fantasy point per minute. There's definitely a chance that if this game blows out, Tim Hardaway probably only plays like 25 minutes. But, assuming he gets his full minutes here, he's going to be a pretty good option at $5,600. So I don't mind him. I think I will mainly just be targeting value though from Dallas. I doubt I play a ton of Hardaway. I'm definitely going to have exposure to Hardaway, but I don't know if he's going to be a core play for me just because there is a little bit of risk here with his minutes. We don't know what his minutes are going to look like, especially if this game gets ugly. He'll be one of the first guys to come off the floor, whereas I feel like someone like Trey Burke, DeLon Wright, like these guys probably will still be out there even if they're losing by 30. So, yeah, that's just kind of my thoughts. I'll still have exposure to Hardaway, just don't think he's going to be a core play for me. Tyler Hero, I do like. There's a chance he does start today and they start Jimmy Butler at point guard. There's a chance that Goran Dragic starts at point guard. We'll just have to wait and see. But just the last few games without, Dragic and Butler, I mean, Tyler Hero's been really good. Last game without Dragic, Butler, and Nunn, Tyler Hero did start at point guard, played 36 minutes, had 51 DraftKings points. It was a great game from him, one of his best games ever. 25 points, 8 rebounds, 10 assists. He nearly triple-doubled. Obviously you don't expect this kind of production from him, especially now that Butler's back, now that Dragic is back. But the minutes should still be there, especially with Kendrick Nunn still out. We're going to get probably 30 minutes from Tyler Hero. So at 5,300, I still have interest in him in that 5K range. If Donovan Mitchell's out, then you could definitely play Jordan Clarkson at 5K. I'm probably off Iguodala and Robinson, though. I've been playing them recently without Butler, with Butler out. But now that he's back, I'll be off those two guys. You do have Seth Curry here, who I like quite a bit. Now that Luka's out, I think Seth Curry becomes way more appealing at 4,100. With both Luka and Porzingis off the floor, Curry, he has a 23.7% usage rate, averages 0.93 fantasy points per minute. Pretty good numbers from him overall, so I do have some interest in him. But yeah, mainly the value, at guard is going to be from Dallas. We'll just have to wait and see what their starting lineup looks like. There's a chance they start DeLon Wright. There's a chance they start J.J. Barea. There's a chance they start Trey Burke. We don't really know here. I'm just going to play whichever one starts because I think that's the one that gets the most minutes. All of them are in play, though. Probably not Barea because, Barea doesn't start. There's a chance he doesn't play at all. But I think, Burke and Wright, whichever one starts, I'd say probably gets about 32 minutes. Whichever one comes off the bench, I think plays 24 to 26. And that's enough for, both of them to be good plays. So that's just my thoughts there. For value at guard, I think you're just going to look to the Mavs guys. But yeah, let's go ahead and look at small forward now. So TJ Warren is questionable today. This will be an injury to watch, obviously. If he plays, I don't really have any interest in him at 8,400. I think Jimmy Butler's going to be on him this game, going to be really trying to lock him up. These guys do have beef with each other. Warren's just overpriced in my opinion. I mean, this is a guy that's not going to put up 50 DraftKings points every game. He's not going to continue to get 5 steals a game, continue to shoot 70% from the field. That's eventually going to cool down at some point. I'll let other people chase that. Like between, looking at other guys in the 8K range, you give me Devin Booker for 8,700 all day over TJ Warren for 8,400. Like, I would much rather play Booker. MPJ, though, that's someone that I have been kind of riding the hot streak with, and I think I'm going to keep doing it. I mean, his price is up to 7,700, but I still like MPJ a ton. On Yahoo, if we look over there, I think he's still way too cheap on Yahoo. He's only $28. Like, he's $2 less than Middleton. He's $9 less than TJ Warren. I think MPJ easily looks like one of the top small forwards on Yahoo. So we will take a look at his numbers this season with both Will Barton and Gary Harris off the floor. We do already have news that both those guys are still going to be out. So I assume, we're going to continue to see MPJ get the minutes, get the start. He's been starting for Barton, and Barton is still out. So probably 34, 36 minutes from MPJ. Looking at his numbers with both Barton and Harris off the floor, he's played 522 minutes, has a 22% usage rate, averaging 1.11 fantasy points per minute. Very solid numbers overall. You look at the game log. I know game log isn't everything, but man, the game log looks pretty right now for MPJ. 44, 36, 34, 45 minutes, 59, 53, 54, 47 DraftKings points. Just been so good, so consistent. Just scoring at will, taking a ton of shots. He's been rebounding as well. Double-digit rebounds in 4 straight games. With Jamal Murray back, maybe that takes a small bump down for MPJ, but I still think this is a guy that's going to give you probably 40, 45 TK points most games. I mean, he's just so productive when he gets minutes. He's a great scorer. He can rebound. Can easily get you a double-double. And I think with the price coming up, people are probably going to shy away from him. His ownership has been, coming down already. He was a little bit lower owned, against Utah last slate than he was before. I think he's going to be even lower owned today against the Lakers at 7,700. It's a scary matchup, but I feel pretty good about MPJ with all the opportunity he's getting right now. And, we saw Denver, I think it was the game against Portland, we saw them rest their starters in the, fourth quarter. I don't think Jokic, Murray, I don't think any of those guys touched the floor in the fourth quarter, but MPJ still played 34 minutes, so he's going to get big minutes regardless. Even if the game blows out, there's a chance you see MPJ out there in a blowout because, he's a young guy. He's a guy they want to develop. I feel really good about him at 7,700. I think he's very safe. Even if this game somehow gets ugly, there's a chance MPJ even plays in a blowout. So I like him a lot at small forward. Other guys we could look to, though, you got THJ that you could play here at 5,600. If Donovan Mitchell's out, I don't mind Joe Ingles at 5,700. In terms of value, though, Dorian Finney-Smith is another guy that's out. It's not listed yet, but if you see right here, Dorian Finney-Smith is out for Monday's game. We'll have to see who starts for Finney-Smith. I don't really know what they're going to do here. I assume Maxi Kleber starts regardless. They could definitely start Maxi Kleber at power forward, and then we see Boban get the start at center, especially facing the Jazz, facing Rudy Gobert. Boban matches up pretty well with a guy like Rudy Gobert. Excuse me. Matches up pretty well with a guy like Rudy Gobert. So we'll just have to wait and see here. Let me see. Let me take a look at who they have. I don't know who would start for DFS. Let's see. Let's go to Dallas. I guess they could maybe start Justin Jackson. That was the first guy that came to my mind. So if I had to guess their starting lineup for today, I think it's probably going to be Trey Burke, Seth Curry, THJ, and then, Maxi Kleber will definitely be in the starting lineup. And then who's the fifth guy? Do they elect to play big and start Boban? Do they elect to go small with Maxi at center and then start Justin Jackson at the 4? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. They don't have Dwight Powell. I mean, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist doesn't really get minutes. I don't even think he's been active recently. So I guess it would probably have to be, or I guess they could run a 3-guard lineup. Maybe you see him start, DeLon Wright, Trey Burke, and Seth Curry, and then play THJ at the 4. I don't know what they're going to do here. I think, THJ would match up pretty good with Royce O'Neal. So, we might see them do that. They could definitely run a 3-guard lineup. They could elect to go big with Boban at center. They could elect to go small with Maxi Kleber at center and then play Justin Jackson at the 4. We'll just have to wait and see what their starting lineup is. I think their starting lineup is definitely going to dictate, what value plays I want to go to. If Justin Jackson were to start, then he could be someone you consider as a value. But I guess that's probably it for small forward value plays. Royce O'Neal, he's getting big minutes right now. Never a guy I feel great about rostering, but he's been pretty good lately. 36, 32, 29 minutes, 36, 32, 29 DraftKings points, 34, 35, 39 minutes. He's still 4,800, so he's a fine value play. I don't mind him. But that's probably it for me at small forward in terms of value plays. And then you obviously got like the Dallas guys. If Justin Jackson starts, I think he's 3K, so he could be someone worth considering, or he's somewhere around there. Let me see. Justin Jackson, yeah, he's 3,100, so he could be someone worth considering if he gets the start for DFS. But let's go ahead and move on to power forward now. So at the power forward position, just looking at the top here, you do have Giannis for 10-6. I'm worried about Giannis's minutes right now. I don't think he's going to get 34, 36 minutes. I think he's going to be capped around 28 to 30 minutes. But that's still enough for Giannis to pay off a 10-6 price tag, especially because we have so much good value on this slate, so many cheap options from the Mavs that, you're going to have salary to pay out for someone like Giannis. I do like him at 10-6. I think even in 30 minutes, he can get 60, 65 DraftKings points. Against the Raptors, this is kind of a big-time game. I know both these teams, I don't know if the Raptors still have something to play for, but I'm sure this is probably a national televised game. I think we get 30 minutes from Giannis. He's probably going to give us 60, 65 DK points, which at 10-6, I'd prefer him over guys like AD and LeBron. And you should have the salary to easily get to Giannis if you want to go that route. So I do like him as a pay-up option. DeAndre Ayton at 8K I think is fine, but his price tag did come up a little bit, so I don't think he's going to be like a core play for me. I talked about AD and Warren. I don't really want to pay up for those guys. In the mid-range, not much stands out here. Like Kelly Olynyk, I've been playing a lot recently, but I was off him last slate. He went back to the bench, only played 22 minutes. Now that Jimmy Butler's back, his minutes, who knows what his minutes look like. So I'll be off Kelly Olynyk. I guess Jeremy Grant you could go to. Like, he's been getting solid run off the bench. He's been playing, big minutes recently. Paul Millsap, we've seen Millsap get limited to like 20, 22 minutes the last few games. I don't know if Grant continues to get big minutes. At 4,800, I don't love him at that salary, but in terms of value plays at power forward, he's someone that, you could go to, but it's hard to consider him over a guy like Maxi Kleber. I think Maxi Kleber easily going to be one of the top value plays today. 4,200 on DraftKings. With no Porzingis, I am assuming that Maxi Kleber either starts at power forward or starts at center. We'll just have to wait and see, but, I'm 99% confident he's going to be in the starting lineup regardless. He's a top value play today. 4,200 on DK, incredibly cheap. If we look over on Yahoo, he's power forward over there, which is great. You don't have to use up one of your center spots. And he's only $11 on Yahoo, so I definitely like Maxi Kleber as one of the top values. He's going to be good chalk, I feel like. I think, honestly, some of these Dallas guys, I think these Dallas guys are really good chalk. Let's just see how many players they have available. So, no Luka, no Porzingis, no Finney-Smith. So they have THJ, they have Seth Curry, Wright, Jackson, Barea, Courtney Lee's out, Powell's out. They have Boban, Michael Gilchrist. He hadn't been on the injury report, but he barely plays. He gets 4 minutes, but we'll consider him a body. Cleveland is a body. Reeves is a body. How has he been playing? He hasn't played in forever. So they literally have non-healthy bodies. They're gonna run a tight rotation. Expect big minutes for a lot of guys. It's hard to get away from these Mavs guys. They're just all so cheap. Hardaway is the most expensive player at 5,600, and then everyone else is below 5K. I don't know. I feel like if you don't have at least 2-3 Mavs in every lineup, you're probably making a mistake. I think you're going to see, especially in the winning GPP lineup on Monday night, it's going to have at least a couple of Mavs in it if I had to guess. We might see maybe even 4, depending on how tight of a rotation they run, because they really don't have anybody else. Guys like Reeves, I know Cleveland's been getting minutes off the bench, but Josh Reeves, I don't even know if he's with the team or if he's playing. But I'm pretty confident they have 8 healthy bodies, and that's it. Cleveland, MKG, Boban, Barea, Jackson, Wright, Finney-Smith, Hardaway, and then I forgot Trey Burke. So Kleber, Burke, let me count those 2. THJ, Finney-Smith's out, so THJ's the 3rd. Curry 4, Wright, Jackson, Barea, Boban 8, Gilchrist 9. Technically they have 11 guys, but who knows if MKG, if Reeves, if these 2 guys get any minutes. They barely have been playing recently. JJ Barea, I don't think he ever gets minutes. He started one game. He started that one game, and then he hasn't played since then. So like he might not even touch the floor. I'm pretty confident they have 8 guys in the rotation, and then they have 3 other guys that we don't know if they're going to get minutes or not, if they're even going to play. So I expect a pretty tight rotation from these Mavs guys. I mean, I think it's good chalk today. I think you just kind of play these cheap values and then load up on the studs, or find a way. Maybe leave salary on the table. This does feel like a slate where leaving salary on the table could make a lot of sense. But yeah, let's go ahead and run through center real quick. I think we covered everything at power forward. Talking about value there, Maxi Kleber is clearly the top value play. But at center, you got Jokic at the top here you could pay up for. It's going to be very easy to get him in today if you want to go that route. He looked really good last game. He definitely benefited from the game going to double overtime. Did have 60 DraftKings points, though, against the Jazz in 42 minutes. Who knows what his minutes look like today? Like I said, the other game against Portland, he didn't touch the floor at all in the fourth quarter. I mean, this game should be close against the Lakers. It should be close down to the wire. You would expect Jokic to be out there. But who knows with Mike Malone? I mean, he'll play the starters and then literally sit them in the entire fourth quarter. Like, that's why MPJ is like the only guy I feel confident in, because I know, he'll be out there even, because he kind of plays the way that his rotation works. I think he always starts the fourth quarter regardless, so he'll be out there with all the bench guys. I don't mind Jokic. I just think I'd rather get up to Giannis if possible. But like a lot of guys out here. No Porzingis, no Sabonis. Ayton and Adebayo are fine. I think Ayton might be to a price point where I don't really love him at 8K. And then Adebayo, now that Jimmy Butler's back, now that Goran Dragic is back, he obviously takes a hit. Gobert at 7,600, he should definitely have a good game here without Porzingis defending him. It's either going to be Maxi Kleber or Boban guarding Gobert. That's a matchup he should easily win. But obviously, if you're rostering Jazz guys, I mean, there's some big concern here that this game just gets ugly. And the Jazz, have this game in hands by the second quarter. We could definitely see Jazz guys. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Jazz players get rested on Monday. We haven't gotten that news yet as of Sunday night, but don't be surprised if you wake up Monday and you see that, the Jazz are resting half their team, because we saw them do it the other day. I'm pretty sure they kind of have their playoff spot locked up. Just be wary of that. Luckily, this is one of the earlier games, so we should have that news before lock, I would assume. But some other injuries we have to watch at center. So on Sunday, when I made my video, for Sunday's slate, we got the news that Steven Adams was going to be out. We got that news like Saturday night, and then going into Sunday, we got the news about 1 hour before the game started that Steven Adams was available to play. And then we got news like 30 minutes before the game started that Steven Adams was out, that he had got late scratch, and then Nerlens Noel was also out. So we saw them go with Mike Muscala at center. I don't know what they're going to do here. It's a back-to-back, so maybe Adams and Noel are both out again. Mike Muscala could definitely be a value center you go to. He was a core play for me once we got the news that both Noel and Adams were out. I thought Muscala was a great value, and he did okay. He had like 10 DraftKings points in like the first 6 minutes. Like, he was on fire to start the game, and then he kind of cooled down, only finished with 20 DK points, but played 28 minutes in the starting lineup. So if Noel and Adams are both out again, I don't mind Mike Muscala, but it's hard to consider him a top value play when we have so much good value from Dallas. I think there's a legit chance that Boban starts today without Porzingis, because he should match up pretty well against Rudy Gobert. Boban, he can't really defend like a guy, bigs that can stretch the floor, that can shoot threes. He should match up well against someone that, kind of lives under the basket, and that's exactly what Rudy Gobert does. So I think there's a chance we see Boban start. If he starts, I mean, he's going to become a top value. I know that he started a couple days ago against the Clippers, and he only played 6 minutes and then never touched the floor. I wouldn't expect that to be the case today. That was a game, I think that was a game where Porzingis played. Like, Boban started alongside Porzingis. Obviously that's not going to happen today because Porzingis is out. So if Boban does start, I feel very confident he gets, at least enough minutes to pay off the price. I mean, you look at his numbers without those guys on the floor. Let me pull them up real quick just so you guys can see. I mean, if you're new to NBA DFS, Boban, he's a guy that, he's like 8 feet tall. I mean, he's incredibly tall. He's very slow, so he doesn't really get minutes all the time. He's not a very good defender. He's just not a guy you're going to have, like, on a championship basketball team. You're not going to have Boban out there, in crunch time. But when it comes to fantasy and it comes to DFS, he's one of the most productive players there is. He's a guy that, you want to see get minutes because he's so productive. So let's take a look at his numbers with Luka and Porzingis both off the floor. See how many minutes he's played with both those guys off the floor. So he's played 183 minutes with both Luka and Porzingis off the floor. Boban has a 30% usage rate, the highest on the team, 23.6% total rebound percentage, also the highest on the team, and he averages 1.37 fantasy points per minute. I mean, those are great numbers for a guy at minimum salary. Now, because Boban is like slow, he's a big guy, you know, he's not going to go out there and play 36 minutes. Like, they're just not going to do that. But he's so productive that even in 20 minutes, like, he can get 40 DraftKings points in 20 minutes. Like, he's such a productive player. We saw right before the break, you know, he played 31 minutes against Denver, and he put up 57 DraftKings points. That was a game, I think, where Luka might have played, but I'm pretty sure Porzingis was out, and they decided to start Boban, and, you know, that's what he did. So if he starts here for Porzingis, he is going to be a top value. Like I said, I think they start Maxi Kleber at center, which is going to make me worried about Boban. Like, I don't really know how many minutes he's going to get if he comes off the bench. But if he starts, I would feel confident he gets enough minutes to be a good, he gets enough minutes to be a good value. So I would like him a lot at 3K. Obviously, you know, like I said, 3 o'clock game, so we'll know this news, you know, hopefully before lock. If not, we can make some late swaps. You know, I didn't talk much about the mid-range, but I don't think the mid-range I'm really going to be going to. You know, Miles Turner's fine at 6,300. You know, his price came down a little bit. But this is definitely a position where I think we have great value. You got guys at the top you could pay up for. I mean, Kelly Olynyk, like I said, I've been playing him a lot, but now that Jimmy Butler's back, and since Olynyk moved back to the bench, you know, I'm kind of off him. Brook Lopez has been hot recently, but I doubt I really go to him as a core player or anything. I feel like at center, depending on what shakes out between these OKC bigs, like if Steven Adams is out and Nerlens Noel plays, I think Nerlens Noel is going to be a really good value at 4,200. You know, you can play Maxey at 4,200. He has center eligibility. If Boban starts for Porzingis, he's going to be a great value at 3K. So I feel like center is a position we kind of want to go for the value today. But that's kind of what I'm liking for this 5-game slate. It's going to be a really fun one. A lot of news we're still waiting on with these, you know, what is Dallas going to do? Who are they going to start without Luka, without Porzingis, without, you know, DFS? What's their starting lineup going to look like? That's going to dictate a lot of the value. You know, we even have teams on back-to-backs, like OKC's on a back-to-back, so don't be surprised if they rest some guys today. I think the Raptors are on a back-to-back as well, so they might maybe rest some guys. We're still waiting on injuries with like TJ Warren, who's questionable. Yeah, so still a lot of news. Should be a really fun slate. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. I think I broke it all down, you know, covered everything. If I missed anything, I'll be sure to have stuff posted on Patreon, you know, when I get to fully break down the slate tomorrow morning. Take a look at each position, you know, hit on the plays I like at each position. I will have that posted on Patreon in my article. Usually get those up about 2 to 3 hours before lock, about 12 o'clock Eastern time. So definitely check out the Patreon link down below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. You know, I want to shoot for over 500 likes today. If we can get there, that would be awesome. I would greatly appreciate it. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload and you never miss out on any of my new videos. But yeah, guys, I think we covered everything. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for all the support recently. I greatly appreciate it. We will see you in the next one. Peace.